Alright guys, this one's a review for MLB 2011 The Show. Basically I'm just gonna go through the review, and at the end I'll give you maybe like I only have one way of really winning a game. I'll go over that at the end of the video though. Review wise, I'd give MLB a 6 out of 10. Basically, what the game has in graphics, the game lacks in gameplay overall. Start in franchise mode as a whole. Uh, the off seasons very long and unneeded. What they could have done is broken it into like parts how Madden has it, where you have you have retirements, re-sign players, free agents, draft, etc. I know the draft's in the beginning of the year, so that's understandable as to why that would be towards the end of the season, in the middle of the season. But as for re-signing players and stuff, I think it's a little bit too meticulous to go throughout the entire month by month, day by day type thing, when you could just break it down like Madden does and save the player a little bit of time. Uh, Next thing I'd probably hit up would be Superstar mode. Another thing, very meticulous. If people have a lot of time on their hands, this stuff's great. And I'll give it props because it's a lot better than Madden Superstar mode. Madden Superstar mode really lacks as a whole. But MLB is very in depth. For instance, I've done about 5 different superstars, just like off and on, little bit. The furthest I've got to the major leagues with one guy, and he was the closer. He was the first one I did it with, uh, and it's tough. Curveballs aren't really effective in the game, so I usually stick it with a slider, change up fastball, and I try to make I try to do one dominant pitch to my fastball because it'll give you a 99 mile per hour fastball, and that way you can use the slider and change up to screw up the hitters. It works pretty effectively. Um, the other thing I noticed, basically, when you're doing it as a hitter, you need to use a big, tall guy power hitter. If you do contact anything like that, it actually is horrible. You'll go like 2 for 5. You really aren't going to be the good contact hitter. Even if you are good at the game and you can hit the ball, it's still not the same. So basically, what I did was I made a power hitter. I got to AAA with him, and I just got bored. The reason I get bored of Superstar mode is because you have to play every game if you want your Superstar to get better. Now, me personally, I always want my Superstars to get better. I want to make the All-Star game. I want to get points and add up and everything. One thing MLB should have done is have points that you simulate through a game. So let's say I simulate a game and go 5 for 5 with 3 home runs. I should get points for that game instead of the game saying, no, you don't get any points, you simulated. I know it's to encourage the person to play, but it also makes the process a little bit longer, especially when you start out in Double A. When you're starting in Double A, they usually don't let you advance until the end of the first season. You'll go up to Triple A. Then maybe midway through the season, you'll go up to MLB if you're doing well. And the same thing goes with pitcher. It's a very long, lengthy process. Uh, Finally, the overall gameplay as a whole. I feel that the game is very realistic. I feel that they do excellent job with pitchers. Like if your pitcher pitches strong in the beginning, 1 through 5, it is hard to get a nice solid lead off someone. Uh, Computers almost impossible to be in my. I think the computers, even on like all-star difficulty, it's pretty. The highest difficulty I didn't even try. I struggle on the second highest difficulty. So I not too fond of how hard it is to beat the computer. I think it should be a little bit more realistic. Um, Also, hitting wise, it's very difficult just to get base hits in the game. You try to run a pitcher's count up. It's usually in real life, if the pitcher goes from an 0-2 count to a 3-2 count, it'll usually end up being a walk. The pitcher starts getting erratic. MLB doesn't have that. They have it as the pitcher will come back strong, get the strikeout, 10 pitch at bat, but it's very it lacks in realism in specific ways that you can score runs. When you need to score a run, it's very hard to do so in the game. Uh, Another thing I noticed when you're playing people, the game's also very picky. If I hit a home run, I'm gonna hit four more, and my friend's not gonna hit any unless I make an error. Like let's say I'm running in the outfield, I could easily catch the ball, but I dive for it just for fun, and I miss it. Game completely turns around. I start blowing it then. The momentum plays a gigantic part in the game, and I don't feel that it should play such a huge part. Uh, go over quick pointers for everybody for the end of this video, just so everybody knows. Basically, what I've realized, if you want to win a game and you're struggling to do so, the easiest way to do it, get two fast guys at the top of your order. When you go up, make sure they can bunt. If you can get a guy like Ichiro number 2 and a guy like Ellsbury batting number 1, you lay down the bunt, get a single out of it. Ichiro lays down a bunt, sacrifices him the second, and then if you have a power hitter, Jose Batista, someone like that, that could hit one off the wall, hit a deep fly, you want to try and get your guys around a third. So it's good to have a lot of fast people around because the computer struggles to stop bunts, as does players when you play the game. So if you want to score runs and you just want and you're confident that you can pitch and throw a shutout, bunt the whole entire game. Trust me, you'll score 2 or 3 runs throughout the game. And lastly, for superstar mode, my advice, I already said it once, but I'll go over it again. If you want a pitcher, do fastball, slider, changeup, dominant pitch being your fastball. That way it goes up to 100 miles an hour, and your slider will be slower. Another thing, do not make your secondary pitches that great, because the better they are, the easier it is for them to hit, because it's harder for you to control the outcome. If your secondary pitch only moves a little bit, you can control where that's going. If your secondary pitch can move across the entire plate, it's harder for you to locate it, because if you go inside and you're trying to get it come across the plate, go to the outside, any mistake could leave it hanging, end up being a home run. So work on your first pitch for the most part. My next advice would be batter, tall, big guy, power hitter. Not complete power. Move some over to contact. Keep it like a little bit towards power. Fielding ability, make it for his arm. If he's gonna, I made mine a right fielder. That way, most of the time, I'm either catching a fly ball or throwing people out at home. That's it for the video, though, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. Next video will get posted unless I have any special requests. I'll probably post one up about NCAA 11. I'm going to try and do a sports ones for the sports games I play unless people start requesting certain games. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoy it.